A very quick disclaimer, this video is not legal advice, and in this video I will only be explaining what the law is. I will not be taking a stand on it. But with that said, this is the law of parliamentary elections in Singapore. I'm sure we all have some idea of what an election is. A bunch of political candidates make some passionate speeches, and on election day, you cast your vote for your favourite candidate. But why go through this whole process? And why is it so serious? To answer these questions, we have to take a few steps back and look at the law behind elections. Now, you might remember from our video on constitutional law that you live in a state, and the government wields all of the state's powers. You might also remember that constitutional law is the fundamental law of any state with a constitution, and it serves two purposes: to let governments do their job, and also to prevent them from abusing their power. With that in mind then, where do parliamentary elections fit in? Well, in Singapore, the law of parliamentary elections lies squarely in the Singapore Constitution. These elections are as fundamental as our state itself. Now, where do we find the elections in our Constitution? Well, in a few places. First, there is Article 66, which simply states that after Parliament is dissolved, general elections must be held within 3 months. There's also Article 39, titled Parliament. And under subsection 1A of Article 39, we see that Parliament shall consist of elected members returned at a general election. You might also see that Parliament consists of other members, but we'll talk about that in a later video on NCMPs and NMPs. For now, what's important is the header that Article 39 is under: the legislature. That's a big word. What does it mean? Well, going back to our video on constitutional law, once again, you might remember that the legislature is one of 3 branches of government. More precisely, the doctrine of separation of powers splits government power into 3 branches, and the branch which makes law is called the legislature. So, in essence, when we cast our votes on election day, we are voting for the people who will make law for us. That's significant, constitution level significant. It is fundamental to Singapore that the people who make law for us are voted into power by us. Now, I know we've explained a lot of big words in this video, but please allow me to introduce just one more of them. So, people who make law for us are voted into power by us. What does this sound like? Well, it's a word you probably know: democracy. Literally, rule by the people. And parliamentary elections are simply the principle of democracy in action. That means that in the eyes of constitutional law, the state of Singapore is ruled by its people, who vote for their lawmakers in parliamentary elections. And with that said, that's all we'll be talking about in today's video. I really hope it was helpful for your understanding. In our next video, we'll be talking about one unique feature in Singapore's parliamentary elections. That's the law of Group Representation Constituencies, or GRCs for short. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and please, take care of yourselves.